Welcome to this evening's Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League match between your Atlanta United and FC Motagua. We thank you for your support. Enjoy the match. Now fans, let's give a united round of applause as we welcome tonight's ball kids, players from the ATL UTD Academy. And now let's hear it for tonight's flag kids, also players from the ATL UTD Academy. And finally, please welcome our player escorts for tonight from Georgia Soccer.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup for FC Motagua. In goal, number 19, Jonathan Rogier. Defender, number 5, Marcelo Pereira. Defender, number 12, Marcelo Santos. Defender, number 27, Felix Crisanto. Midfielder, number 6, Ranieri Martin. Midfielder, number 10, Matias Alejandro Galvaniz. Midfielder, number 16, Hector Castellanos. Midfielder, number 24, Omar Elvir. Midfielder, number 34, Kevin Lopez. At forward, number 21, Roberto Moreira. And tonight's captain, defender, number 2, Juan Pablo Montez. And the head coach for FC Motagua, Diego Vasquez. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting 11 for head coach Frank DeBoer and your Atlanta United!
Defender, number 2, Franco Escobar. Defender, number 4, Defender, number 6, Fernando Meza. Midfielder, number 5, Eric Remedi. Midfielder, number 8, Ezequiel Barco. Midfielder, number 10, Gonzalo P.T. Martinez. Midfielder, number 11, Brooks Lennon. Midfielder, number 20, Emerson Hyman.
Second leg action of the round of 16 in 2020 Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League kicks off here in Kennesaw, Georgia at Fifth Third Bank Stadium as Major League Soccer's Atlanta United takes on Motagua of Honduras with the aggregate all level at 1. Tyler Terrence along with U.S. Soccer Hall of Famer Tony Miola. Thank you so much for tuning in as we have an excellent fixture on our hands here tonight. Pitch conditions for the evening, a brisk evening in the sticks of Atlanta, 75% chance of rain, a slight breeze coming in as well as the traveling supporters have shown up and shown out. Atlanta United not in their typical home, but they have made Fifth Third Bank Stadium a fortress to be reckoned with in their few matches here away from Mercedes-Benz. A look at the road to the trophy. Of course, the winner of this fixture will take on the winner of Club America and Comunicaciones, but the topic at hand, Atlanta United and Motagua. Well, it was certainly an intriguing fixture down in San Pedro Sula last week, Tony Miola. And for Atlanta United, it looked like they shook off some of the cobwebs for Motagua going up against an MLS side. It's always going to be a Super Bowl for them. They performed relatively well.
Yeah, they did. And I was surprised by Motagua's performance. I thought they were outstanding on the night. The one area that they gave Atlanta a lot of issues were in the wide areas. They were able to swing balls in the box. Atlanta, for the most part, struggled in the box. A lot of balls bouncing around. They want to be cleaner tonight. But Atlanta, now they've got a game under their belt. They've got an idea of what Motagua looks like. You know, we've heard from Frank DeBoer. He talked about the field conditions. Wasn't able to get the ball on the deck nearly as much as they wanted to. That won't be a problem tonight in Kennesaw. So it'll be an interesting matchup here. Keep in mind, Atlanta, obviously, with that away goal, has the advantage tonight. I think Atlanta, talent-wise, is better than Motagua. Motagua, obviously, in a different part of their season, have found a little bit more rhythm early. We'll see if Atlanta can halt them tonight and really jump on them early, because I thought Atlanta sat back quite a bit in that first half in leg one.
Well, right now, Motagua very much a team in form. First place within Liga Nacional in Honduras, 6-2 and won a 6-match unbeaten streak. They drew Real de Minas of Honduras over the weekend as they rested a number of players, including the magic man in the middle, Matias Galvaliz, Castellanos, Morera. The list goes on, but they are bringing out the entire 11. We'll get to the starting lineups a little bit later on. Meanwhile, for Atlanta United, personnel continues to be an issue. Miles Robinson unavailable. Edgar Castillo unavailable. Your new signings in Castro, Matias Uceto unavailable. But they feel like they're going to be able to put together a lineup or at least a tactical formation that they're comfortable with in the three-back system.
Yeah, and they will go to three backs tonight. And obviously at home they want to push more players forward. Brooks Lennon now seems to be fully fit. He's going to get the start. Brad Guzan obviously will organize the three in the back. They're used to playing in this system. The one thing that stuck out to me with Frank DeBoer and all his press conferences this week was the fact that he talked about the mentality of this team. He thought last year if this team went down, the worry was that they would go not one down but three down after that. They went down, and right away the response down in Motagua a minute later after Marrero scores the goal, Joseph Martinez comes right back. Atlanta gets himself right back in the game and right back in the tie.
Well, players making their way out onto the field here at Fifth Third Bank Stadium in Kennesaw, Georgia. It's the Five Stripes of Atlanta United taking on the Honduran Giants of Motagua in this second leg of the round of 16 in 2020 Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the pitch for tonight's Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League match, FC Motagua and your Atlanta United!
Familiar setting for Atlanta United this time last year. They were able to take on Herediano in the second leg of the round of 16 after falling 3-1 down in Costa Rica. They came out firing in the first 52 seconds and cruised to a 4-0 win here at Fifth Third Bank Stadium. They're looking for a similar result here tonight. Tony, Atlanta United, 2 changes. Jake Mulroney, the Irishman, is going to be making his debut.
Yeah, and Brooks Lennon also comes in for Frank DeBoer, which looks like it's going to be a 3-4-3. He'll go on that right-hand side. Jeff Lorenowitz is out, but that'll mean Remedi and Hyman in the middle. Joseph Martinez, the 2018 MLS MVP, starts up top.
Atlanta United, of course, getting entry into this tournament by way of winning U.S. Open Cup over Minnesota United at Mercedes-Benz in 2019. Fell short in the conference finals in MLS postseason to Toronto FC. As we'll get a look at our refereeing crew as well as our captains for tonight. As Atlanta United taking on a Honduran group that, as Tony mentioned at the top of the broadcast, in different form in a different part of the season, already having played 9 games. They're 2 points clear of Marathon in the Honduran domestic league, 6-match unbeaten streak. They've been scoring goals left and right. They've been defending well, and they performed extremely well against Atlanta United last week in the first leg. Here's a look at our officiating crew. Keylor Herrera of Costa Rica, joined by his compatriot and Juan Carlos Mora. Out on one flank, Quetzal Corrales of Nicaragua. Out on the other, Walter Lopez is your 4th official for this evening. Juan Pablo Montes missed out on the first leg due to an injury he picked up in training a few days before the first leg. Brad Guzan, of course, the 35-year-old from Illinois, getting a contract extension through 2023 as the captain for Atlanta United. One change for Motagua, but it does change a lot.
Yeah, it does change. You mentioned the captain, Juan Pablo Montes, comes in. Ruggiero, the goalkeeper, the 32-year-old Argentinian, will start. But when things go well for this side, it all goes through Matias Gavaliz, number 10, and Roberto Marrero, your goal scorer in leg 1. He now starts up top for the injured Roberto Castillo.
Castillo actually hurt his hamstring in about the first 5 minutes of the first leg. Played about 60 more minutes, gets subbed off in the 66th for Emilio Izaguirre. As you get a look at the substitutions available for both Atlanta United and Motagua. Adam John was one who came off the bench and performed well for the Five Stripes. Meanwhile, for Motagua, a bunch of experienced options off the bench as well.
And the one thing that sticks out in that subs list is Atlanta only going with 6 because of all the issues, and we'll get into them, with injuries and with paperwork not being done for some players. So instead of going with a full complement of 7, they have to go at 6 tonight.
Joseph Martinez was the goal scorer in the first leg, an almost immediate response after the opening goal from Roberto Marrero of Motagua. As it looks like Keylor Herrera is just about ready to go. Again, the winner, again on aggregate, tied up 1-1, will take on the winner of Club American Comunicaciones. A lot of people thinking that there's only one horse in that race. And away we go from Fifth Third Bank Stadium in Kennesaw, Georgia. Tyler Terrence along with U.S. Soccer Hall of Famer and Tony Meola. Thank you so much for joining us. Second leg action of the round of 16 in 2020 Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League officially underway.
See a little bit of a high pressure here by Motagua early in the game. We saw this in the home leg as well for them. It was a little bit different. Atlanta, because of the surface, really couldn't build out of the back. This is tight spaces here. Brad Guzan just play one long here. We'll see how that theme plays out. Can Motagua maybe pick off Atlanta?
Remedi goes to ground. Motagua with their first move of the evening, and it's snuffed out. As you can hear, the Atlanta United supporters have no problem coming out and showing their love for their side, even if it's away from their typical home at Mercedes-Benz. They have turned this into a fortress when they've needed to. They've played a number of competitive matches here, including Champions League second leg action of the round of 16 last season, U.S. Open Cup against both the Charleston Battery and St. Louis FC of second division in the United States and USL Championship. Winners in all 3.
Good movement by Atlanta there. Mr. Hyman coming wide in that space that was vacated by Jake Mulroney out left. Allowed them now to build into this middle third of the field and now have some fairly easy possession.
Remedi looking to switch the point of attack. Beautiful ball for Brooks Lennon. Brought down, set to cross. Martinez might be able to get there, and it's snuffed out by Jonathan Ruggiero.
That's the one thing Brooks Lennon will give you, is that width high up the field, playing in that wide midfield spot. It's a guy that also transitioned into playing as a right back we've seen over the last 2 years. So if they have to make some kind of tactical adjustment, it becomes easy for Frank de Boer to do so.
Emerson Hyndman. Risky there from Eric Rometty, who took that touch straight into pressure. They were keen, couldn't clean it up, and Jake Mulroney, the Irishman, wins it back for Atlanta United. Ezequiel Barco, always clever on the ball. Another switch for Brooks Lennon. First start as a member of the Five Stripes. Barco trying to deliver, shouts for a handball, not going to be given. A little bit rushed from Motagua.
Brooks Lennon finding some joy out on that right-hand side early in the game here. Barco gets across the field, starting over the left. You'll see he and Pity Martinez oftentimes exchange positions. They have the freedom to roam underneath Joseph Martinez up top.
Anton walks, looking for an option. Played right center back when Frank de Boer's side went with a 4-back system in the first leg. Now with the addition of Brooks Lennon into the starting 11, he will play on the left side of a 3-back system.
And he has played as a left wing back here in this exact system as well.
Barco was desperately trying to stay on his feet. If he had, he would have been in on goal.
Looked like he and Pereira went down at the same time. It doesn't matter who got up first that was going to get to that one.
Moreira giving some issues. Cleared out of play by Atlanta United. We're going to open up league play against Nashville SC in their inaugural Major League Soccer season. A look at Diego Vasquez, Argentinian manager for Motagua in his 7th season, has been with this group and with a number of these players basically since he's been involved with the club. Gotten to 2 Concacaf League finals, fallen short in both to Costa Rican outfits in Herediano and Saprissa.
He's done such a good job with this group, has them currently in first place in the league right now. We saw them through Concacaf League, watched them play, watched them qualify for Concacaf Champions League. They're always organized, they have some adventure, especially when they play at home. Different proposition here in Atlanta on this AstroTurf, as the game will be a little bit quicker. You'll see Felix Crisanto on this right-hand side and Omar Elvira on that left-hand side. They had a nice battle with Mo Adams in leg 1. See if they can pin him back a little bit. He was pretty adventurous up and down that left wing.
All the way back for Brad Guzan, who made a number of spectacular saves in that first leg down in San Pedro Sula. Probably should have gotten a nod for Team of the Week within Champions League, but was beat out by Clement Diop of the Montreal Impact. Here's Pity Martinez turning the corner, asking questions. Big ball towards the back post, and Mulroney was always behind it.
Well, not a bad build-up here from Atlanta. Didn't have enough numbers in the box here, and of course Pity Martinez, I'm sure, wants that one on his left foot, but good opportunity, getting through the middle third really quick. In that final third, opportunity to look at goal. I'm sure Frank de Boer will want a few more runners in the box. You can sense that Atlanta at the moment is starting to find a little bit of a rhythm, which really took them quite some time, maybe not even into the second half of leg 1. But as we saw with all 5 MLS teams in this competition, at one point in that second half, they started to run out of gas. And that's a fitness thing based on the point of the season they're at. Now they've had another week, and I'm sure have addressed that.
They were actually the only Major League Soccer side to not concede in the second half in the first leg. Here's the former Real Salt Lake man in Lennon, finding Rometty. Good play over on the outside. Omar Elvire.
That's a good point here from, you move Brooks Lennon up, and now we talked about Omar Elvire and how much time he spent in the final third of the field against Atlanta in leg one. Now you have him tracking back all the way to the goal line. So if you can continue that theme, you've at least won that battle on the field. And I think that's what going to this 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1, if you will, for Frank DeBoer allows Atlanta to do tactically.
Look at Kevin Lopez in that two-man picture from Motagua. You really need him to step up in international play. He scores quite a high rate domestically, but only 3 goals combined in 2018 and 19 Concacaf League. As Motagua win the ball back, but struggling to find their way out of pressure. Matias Galvaliz able to relieve it.
We talked quite a bit about Kevin Lopez during Concacaf League. He's a 24-year-old, spent his entire career at the club. Sort of thinking in Honduras is at some point in the near future he will likely be out of Motagua, potentially in Major League Soccer. He's got a pretty good run. He's got some talent. When he gets wide, he's a good crosser of the ball. But that's the guy right there, number 10. The more the ball touches Galvaliz's feet, the more rhythm you will see Motagua sort of establish in this game. It's been pretty quiet so far.
Foul committed by Mulraney. And a decent set piece opportunity coming up for the Hondurans.
Atlanta not happy with this call here. This is from the throw in. It bounces up, and Mulraney just a little anxious. Kevin Lopez really had nothing as the ball was bouncing up, and gets bailed out with Mulraney fouling him from behind. Galvaliz, as I mentioned, number 10, he'll be on all free kicks, all corner kicks, serves a very good ball.
Line in the sand drawn right at the 18 for Atlanta. Decent amount of room in front of Brad Guzan. Galvaliz just trying to dump it in there. Oh, it's a terrific ball, gets all the way through, and somehow Juan Pablo Montes couldn't get a touch and steer it on frame.
Yeah, those aren't opportunities you want to continue to give Galvaliz to serve balls in the box. You see there right off the bat here, less than 10 minutes in, a good service, very dangerous on free kicks.
Remedi. Martinez wanted to give it back, a late tackle on Joseph Martinez. And that'll get the attention of Gaylor Herrera, our head referee. And the culprit is Marcelo Pereira.
The referee's going to have a conversation. It's the second one. He's had one with Atlanta defenders now. Now he's had one with Motagua. Keep in mind, Joseph Martinez has to keep his head. He comes into this one with a yellow card that he got for an argument he had with the referee in leg one. This is a very difficult spot on the field for managers to draw up free kicks. You don't have it wide enough to swing a ball in the box. It's too far out to potentially go on goal. You have something maybe wide. You see 3 Atlanta players back at this back post before Motagua sorts it out. Looks like Anton Walks is free at the back. Still confusion.
It's an attempt from Pity Martinez, and it's always going over.
Yeah, it's tough to score from that distance, and keep in mind when you play in the AstroTurf, and of course they do day in and day out, but they're always going to have a little bit more flight on the ball.
Tried his best to get over it. You saw he was totally leaned over the ball, but still always popping up. Ball down by Hyndman.
It's an interesting year here for Emerson Hyndman and how he kind of now grows into this Atlanta side, becomes a full-time starter. He knows this position with Frank DeBoer. Now, so much expectation moving forward with the senior national team after making a debut back in 2014, and really hasn't panned out, but this could be a good opportunity for him to open some eyes in the U.S.
Brooks Lennon commits the foul. And more to your point, Tony, we were talking with Frank DeBoer on the phone before the first leg, and he said he sort of expects him to maybe take on some of the defensive responsibilities that Darlington Nagbe filled before he headed over to Columbus.
Yeah, and he has that work rate in him. He's that kind of player. He's not afraid to see, once again, Kevin Lopez. Anytime he gets in these areas, we've seen this time and time again. You and I have called a lot of these Motagua games. He draws fouls all over the place, and of course with Gavaliz able to serve balls like he does, it becomes dangerous.
Heavy touch, but cleaned up by Marcelo Santos. Atlanta United doing a good job of making Motagua rush when they're in the attacking third.
Yeah, it was good pressure initially by Barco. He was waiting for some help from behind, but then Pity Martinez comes across the field. As you mentioned, rushes the play. We're seeing 3 up top here. Are there spaces, these little half spaces as we call them here, that Atlanta can get into? It's a pretty good job here building out.
Excellent job building out. Ball slipped through and just a little bit too out in front of Ezequiel Barco.
It was a good idea by Pity Martinez. He also had Brooks Lennon out wide. Martinez had checked in a little bit. Barco trying to get in behind. Just a bit too long.
Barco had it poked away, but it falls right to Mulroney.
Lanny, you start to get the feeling here in the sense that they're settling into the game. They're finding their feet a little bit, finding areas to break the press. Once they get into the middle third, I think they'll have their way going forward. It's this part of the press. Interesting that Diego Vasquez, I would have thought that he would have sat back a little bit deeper, but imagine he doesn't want Atlanta, who's a rhythm team, to start to get into a rhythm like they are right now.
Mulroney, it's not a bad delivery. Joseph Martinez was lining it up. Lennon finding Martinez. Was he bumped? Loose ball. Barco, a big deflection out in front of Rougier. And eventually cleared away. Best chance of the night so far for Atlanta.
What an opportunity for Atlanta. What a breakup defensively as there were bodies flying all over the place. Eventually, shot was blocked. First good opportunity falls to Atlanta.
Remetti's doing a good job when he gets the ball in the middle of the field and turning and making these Motagua defenders chase.
You know, Remetti's a guy that you almost can't take off the field if you're Frank DeBoer. You just know what you're going to get out of him game in and game out. Every time you watch him play, he does the simple things. He puts in the hard work. He breaks up plays. And when he gets the ball, he rarely complicates things. You know, we talk about music makers and music players on every team, and he tries to get at those guys who make beautiful music, the Pity Martinez's of the world, the Ezequiel Barcos, of course, Joseph Martinez.
Remetti. That's exactly what we're talking about, as Barco had his back turned to the play, but it was a good idea from the Argentinian.
Now Atlanta's broken the press a few times here. You see Motagua just a bit deeper than they were, about 20 or 30 yards deeper at some point in the game. You want to stop chasing the ball around if you don't think you can press, if you're not getting the support from behind. Credit to Atlanta for winning that part of the battle.
Well, Motagua have lasted longer than Herediano did. Herediano lasted about 52 seconds before Joseph Martinez put one in, and the Costa Ricans were protecting a 3-1 lead when coming back to Kennesaw after the first leg last year. Remember, the aggregate tied at 1. Atlanta with the advantage with the away goal, at least for the moment. You knew you were always going to be under pressure if you're Diego Vasquez, but he's absorbed the first couple of punches from Frank DeBoer's group.
You know, one thing from a Motagua standpoint, you know you have to come in here and score a goal, right? You have to get one in order to get through this tie at some point. The longer it goes, and we're still in early moments in this game, depending on the score. The one thing that you don't want to do against Atlanta United is open yourself up, have to spread the field. That allows them to have their players that are talented in the attacking part of the field have space, have some time, be able to look up, find players in advanced positions. That's when Atlanta becomes difficult to play against.
A little bit of soft pressure here from Motagua. Pays off. Up steps Anton, walks and breaks it up. Big ball for Barco. Hands it down beautifully. Escobar. Hyndman. Brooks Lennon looking for early delivery. Takes a deflection. Mulroney was there. Good hustle from Barco to keep it in. Rometti. This looks like a different team than what we saw from the Five Stripes last week in Honduras.
This is good stuff here. They've got Motagua pinned back, win a second ball here in the repress.
Betty Martinez turning the corner. Challenge, referee says no foul. Corner kick though. And the Five Stripe faithful are up in arms.
Well, it's some play here. I believe it's Marcelo Pereira. Referee was right on it here, was decisive in his call. It is Pereira on Pity Martinez. We'll get a look here. Oh boy.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure the referee got this right. We'll have another look. He does get his legs and then gets the ball. I can see what the referee saw with the ball, but we've seen penalty kicks called for that for sure.
Ensuing corner, good ball. Martinez was there. Difficult to sort of contort his body and steer it back on frame.
It just blows my mind with Joseph Martinez. How many times at 5'8" do we see him elude defenders and find space in the box? To see him make a move here. It looks like he's coming from behind a pick. It was a pick there, and he finds an inch of space. And I would suggest if there's one guy you're going to mark in the box, especially on balls in the air, it's that man, Joseph Martinez. He wins so many head balls, and he's shaking his head here because he knows that was a pretty good opportunity he had.
It's not tough to locate him with that hair as well. Staying with him is a horse of a different color. Minutes gone here in Kennesaw. No score in the second leg. 1-1 on the aggregate. Advantage Atlanta with the away goal. Poor giveaway from Hyndman. Motagua in business. Not until Eric Rometti says, no thank you, we don't take that credit card here.
And just what we were talking about a little bit earlier. He breaks up plays. That time it was needed after the giveaway.
And Barco doing a good job of carrying the ball about 25, 30 yards and wins the free kick.
Wondering how bad he got caught here. You got Santos there. You got Castellanos there. I see his ankle. Yeah, it gets clipped from behind, then it gets caught in the turf. Seems to be okay walking it off. A little bit of a limp. So a lot of space in behind that line. Does Pity Martinez try and just bend it around, even if he can get it on the ground somehow.
Seconds cleaned up by Elvire. Great hold-up play. It's Kevin Lopez.
This is Brooks Lennon now 2 times the same type of foul. He's a little bit demonstrative with the referee. He's got his hands up. Both players are grabbing each other here, Lopez and Brooks Lennon having a little bit of a battle down that side of the field.
What we expected for the first 20 minutes or so?
Yeah, I think Atlanta has grown into this rhythm as we've been talking about here. A little bit surprised again by the high press here. We have seen Motagua turn Atlanta over 2 or 3 times. They'll be happy to allow Brad Gazan to have the ball at his feet. From a Motagua standpoint, you're okay right now. The one clear opportunity that Barco had that bounced out that they were able to block before it got on goal, but this is the area of the field in that middle third. Once Atlanta gets here, they're easily getting into this final third of the field.
Joseph Martinez showing off his strength and skill. Pity Martinez, a little bit of breathing room.
Well, once again, they break the press. They get in that middle third. Now they're running at the defense. Good job by Martinez of holding up the ball. Eventually gets here to Pity Martinez, and he gets that one wrong, but a good build-up. I think they'll take this 9 out of 10 times here. They certainly want it on frame, but you've got options. You see Emerson Hyman at the top of the box free. You see Barco at the top of the box free. So maybe next time around you put your head down, defenders come, and you've got some kind of combination play that you're setting up later on.
Keane brings it down. The sharpest of clearances from Anton Walks. For Crisanto.
That's one, maybe the first time you've called Crisanto's name. He's been a really important part of this puzzle here for Motagua, especially when they play 3 in the back. And Elvira, we talked about on the other side. Credit to Atlanta United for pinning those 2 players back. But they have been an integral part of this attack for Motagua.
Crisanto wearing number 27 for Motagua has plenty of experience in Champions League and elsewhere with Victoria and Motagua, as well as some Liga MX experience with Lobos. Mesa just launches it towards Joseph Martinez, who looks back and says, I was never going to get that.
Mesa tired of building out of the back the entire time. He's touched the ball probably as much as anybody. Trying to skip some lines and get it forward quickly. Now it opens up the game a little.
Decent idea for Mulroney. Gets the delivery away. Asking questions, and Motagua have the answer.
Well, he found some space in behind Crisanto there. Good ball played in. Atlanta looks a little sharper physically tonight. When they get around the ball, they look a little quicker, on their toes a bit more. Again, another week of training, another week of managing the workload. 90 minutes under the belts, which you don't get a lot of during preseason. Oftentimes you're playing with unlimited substitutions. Poor giveaway here by Motagua.
Diego Vasquez obviously not happy with the end product of that buildup. Tony, we talked about all the missing pieces for Atlanta United. It has to be frustrating if you're Frank de Boer. I mean, injuries are one thing and it's part of the game, but visas and paperwork for both Manuel Castro and Matias Uceto, who are your 2 big offseason signings coming out of South America, it's got to drive him absolutely insane that simply paperwork that's keeping his guys from being on the field.
Well, he's no different than every other manager in the world. They want their full complement of players to pick from.
Full complement of attack here for Atlanta United. Mulroney.
Only Joseph Martinez really in the box. So Barco stayed at the top of the box. Hyman didn't enter the box. Brooks Lennon out wide, couldn't get there in time. Maybe a bit more patience by Mulroney. Pull it back one more time. Maybe allow some runners to get in the box, but certainly Atlanta wants more than Joseph Martinez, although we know he can get the job done. But if you got 2 center backs, you want to stretch them a little bit with another runner.
Pity Martinez called for the foul here as he backed in to look like Marcelo Santos. Excuse me, that's Hector Castellanos.
Castellanos will be okay, just taking his time here, giving Motagua a bit of a rest, as the pace has picked up a little bit. They've been chasing quite a bit this last 5 or 10 minutes.
Good tummy from Matias Galvaliz, whipped in by Santos. Really well done from Barco.
And miscommunication there. Like Remedi wanted, or at least thought, Joseph Martinez was going long. Martinez wanted to his feet.
Challenge won by Atlanta. Joseph Martinez cleans it up. Picks his head up, driving at the back line. Joseph Martinez, and a big deflection put in by Juan Pablo Montes. Corner kick coming up for the home side.
And another good counterattack here, but it all started with Barco and some hard work right in around midfield. And Joseph Martinez, you can see the blue jerseys recovering here, eventually knocked out by Marcelo Pereira.
Pity Martinez inside the penalty area, putting on the moves. Pity Martinez cleared off the line by Motagua.
Some move by Pity Martinez. It was Juan Pablo Montes on the clearance, so that was fine in the back of the net.
Brooks Lennon. Seconds fall for walks. Hindman battling. Check that, it was Mesa. Look at Lopez just bulldozing his way through. Crisanto. Motagua looking to establish a rhythm here. Ball needed to be picture perfect from Galvaliz. Cleared away by Atlanta. And now numbers the other way if they hurry. Great ball forward for Barco. Clean first touch. Barco, and it's just wide.
Boy, and Barco, a great run, great recognition by Pity Martinez, but this play was made by Joseph Martinez, who made a run to the right, which opened up space. Here you'll see Martinez, there's the run, he pulls the center back, and now Zico Barco, and this one I believe gets deflected. Yeah, it does in the end. It'll be a corner kick here, but this lane was opened up because of Joseph Martinez's run, and Barco, instead of going far post, trying to bend it in near post, gets deflected for a corner.
Half an hour played, Atlanta knocking on the door again. All the way at the back post, Joseph Martinez. Cleaning up a poor first touch for Mulroney. Those awkward areas for Atlanta from the set piece, a bit more angled, be able to dump it in. Barco all the way through. Joseph Martinez fan on the first header. Atlanta cleaned the ball, traveled all the way out of play. Barco driving forward, almost came away with it. From Mulroney, somehow Lopez maintains possession and eventually doubled down on. And Franco Escobar able to find Remedi, who will switch the point of attack. Clean first touch for Joseph Martinez. Great play from Pity. Back for Pity Martinez, and he sends the shot wide. Not the first time we've seen Atlanta with a terrific build-up and a mediocre finished product.
And not the first time we've seen this combination. This was the combination for the goal in leg one here. It was a little bit deeper, a little bit closer to the penalty area, but these two have a clear understanding of how they want to play off of each other. This is good work, good movement. And a good look at goal. That's twice now. Pity Martinez has pulled one wide of that far post. Nice build-up once again. You see how quickly Atlanta can get at you. And he's starting to grow into this game, Pity Martinez. Early on, he was a non-factor. Now with the movement of he and Barco underneath Joseph Martinez, becoming more dangerous.
United fans were expecting Pity to sort of fill the void of Miguel Almiron, especially from a goal-scoring standpoint. Didn't exactly pan out that way in 2019. Just 5 goals to his name, but does a lot of good things for Atlanta moving forward. Lopez trying to get the cross away, blocked by Mulroney. Merkin. Looks like he called Remedi with an elbow. Still gets the delivery away, but straight to Brad Guzan.
You mentioned that Pity Martinez conversation, and most people thinking it was a like for like between Miguel Almiron and he. 2 different players. I know they look similar in body type, and they've got some movements that are similar. Miguel Almiron, a little more straightforward player. He'll run at you, and how many times did we see this team go on a counterattack, and he's the guy running 30, 40 yards in the midfield, just pushing defenders back, pushing an entire defensive crew back, allowing Joseph Martinez to run into spaces, create angles. That's not who Pity Martinez is, but he can be equally as effective.
For about $12 million from River Plate over in Argentina. Miguel Almiron continues to play well over in the Premier League with Newcastle, as this one will be claimed by Brad Guzan.
I think it's a better judgment of Pity Martinez in year 2. You give a player a year to kind of grow into the league, understand his new environment, understand the new manager.
Here he is again. Good ball for Joseph Martinez. Joseph Martinez still with it, still going, and straight at Rougier.
Oh, it almost looked like Joseph Martinez cut his own angle out here as Omar Elvir was able to push him wide one last time, because it looked like Martinez had an opportunity on this touch right there to shoot. Omar Elvir gets him out wide, makes it a little bit easier for Rougier, the goalkeeper, as he cuts off that far post. Nowhere else for Joseph Martinez to shoot. I think other than the final product here, Tyler, Frank de Boer will be happy with his side's performance. They figured out this press early in the game, and every time they get into that final third, they look like they have an opportunity to score a goal. A couple turnovers, but to be expected this time of year. Barco and Martinez have grown into the game.
Look at the pace from Barco. Martinez for Pity.
This is all good movement. You see out wide here, Mulroney. There's a left-sided option. You saw at the end of that play, Emerson Hyman making a run, potentially being another option here. You'll see him come into your screen here. There's an option out wide right with Brooks Lennon.
It's not that Pity Martinez isn't hitting the target. He hasn't really come close in the 3 opportunities, and they have been good ones. And Motagua, despite the 0-0 scoreline in the second leg, a 1-1 score on the aggregate, and on the outs, if it is to remain this score, having a good time here in Kennesaw. Brad Guzan in a press conference early on Monday morning, saying that they're very grateful to have Fifth Third. And while they know that it'd be ideal to play every game in Mercedes-Benz, it's simply not the reality. And on the bright side, they could be playing on a baseball field. Mulroney.
Good patience here by Atlanta. Look how pinned back all the blue jerseys of Motagua are at the moment. Just kind of probing to see if they can find some space.
Escobar was lining it up like he was going to hit it. Pity Martinez, oh, this is excellent again. Pity once more, and he finally has it. Atlanta have it. 1-0 in the second leg, 2-1 on the aggregate.
Well, Tyler, I feel like we were just talking about this combination between Pity Martinez and Joseph Martinez. There's a good entry ball played in. We were just talking about how they were probing, they were patient, they were willing to wait a second and find some space. And there you see the flick from Pity to Joseph Martinez, and then the give and go. And he's tried 3 times earlier to that far post. This time he finds it here. Nothing Rougier, the goalkeeper, could do. And look at the runners in the box. That's a very good movement by Atlanta. And it'll make that man, Frank de Boer, happy with his staff as they go up 1-0. But I think more importantly, they're finding a rhythm in this game. They're finding movement in that final third. And they were finally able to pick Motagua in this low block apart.
First international goal for Pity Martinez in a 5 stripes kit. Utterly beautiful work between he and Joseph Martinez. We've seen it throughout the entirety of the first half. All we were missing was the finished product.
Atlanta goal scored
And
by
that finish
number
from
10.
Pity different than all the others. Calm, cool, collected, body over the ball, picked out his spot. And Atlanta United finally get the goal that they certainly deserve.
I think here the next mission for Atlanta is just get into the dressing room, a goal up here. Take a look at those few instances during build-up that you got caught. Maybe correct some angles here, but the work rate has been really good.
Cavaliers with a nifty turn. Of course, Guzan to come off of his line.
Continue defensively to do what you do. Crisanto's been out of the game. Elvira on the left-hand side has been out of the game. And you just mentioned Galvaliz, and we said in the open, this team goes as Galvaliz goes in the midfield. And he really, for the most part, has been a non-factor. There's been a couple instances where he's had opportunities. Outside of some free kicks, some restarts, he's not been involved in the game. That's a good sign for Atlanta.
Hospital ball there from Atlanta. Picked off by Crisanto. Look at Joseph Martinez's work rate to get back behind the ball. Not just a goal scorer. Clever ball through. Crisanto into the middle and broke it up. Franco Escobar going all the way over from that right center back position.
Good read there by Escobar. This poor defending all around on this left-hand side of the field for Atlanta. There's a give and go, then a ball played in behind the defense that Crisanto just finally got onto. I believe it's the first one this half that he's been able to find at the goal line to get across. Escobar, as you said, breaking it up.
Barco, good idea. The run being made out of the midfield by Pity Martinez.
Barco's been bright, hasn't he, this entire first half? For me, the player of the match so far for Atlanta. On both sides of the ball, he's been really, really active.
Stands Atlanta moving on. That was the case when we entered the 90 minutes here in Kennesaw. But if Motagua are to score and it finishes 1-1, straight to penalties.
Outside of that last moment with Crisanto, what a move there by Emerson Hyman to get out of danger. because of the 3-back system with 2 wing backs for Atlanta. They've eliminated those crossing opportunities.
Barco couldn't quite get there. Picked up by Santos.
We said in the open, so many opportunities for Motagua to get the ball in the box in leg 1. It's almost been non-existent this first half.
Pitti, Joseph Martinez, Hyndman back for Martinez. He probably could have taken it himself.
I was thinking the same thing. It was that one more first touch. We wanted to play another give and go with Ezequiel Barco.
Meanwhile, it's Kevin Lopez on the other end. Good ball all the way across. Escobar, a flick away. And Brooks Lennon able to get an important touch to it.
They get an idea there just from one breakout, even in a poor moment for Motagua there, where they haven't found anything going forward, how quickly they can get at you if you fall asleep. Kevin Lopez is one of those players that can do it.
That's going to do it for the first half here from Kennesaw, Georgia. Atlanta United with a 1-0 lead in the second leg, 2-1 on the aggregate, thanks to Pitti Martinez, his first goal in Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League. Tony Miller, your thoughts?
Well, I thought good job by Atlanta of growing into the half. They've worked on breaking that press early on. They figured out some solutions to get forward. If you're Motagua, you're not that all upset. Still an opportunity to get in this. A goal just changes the whole face of this this second leg here. So be an interesting second half.
Right now, Atlanta United on to the quarterfinals. We'll step aside. 1-0 to Atlanta in the second leg.
Support your Atlanta United by voting for the man of the match. Visit CONCACAFChampionsLeague.com or vote on Twitter @TheChampions. For the latest news, match statistics, and highlights, visit CONCACAFChampionsLeague.com. Keep up with all the tournament action on CONCACAF's social media channels. Follow on Twitter @TheChampions and our Facebook page @CONCACAFChampions. Scotiabank is a proud sponsor of the 2020 Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League, because football inspires kids and transforms futures. Follow Scotia Football Club on Facebook to learn more about our football initiatives. Allstate is a proud sponsor of the Concacaf Champions League. Allstate, you're in good hands. When determination turns into gold, it proves it doesn't matter where you come from. It matters what you're made of. Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. And we're proud to be the official beer of the beautiful game. Scotiabank is a proud sponsor of the 2020 Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League, because football inspires kids and transforms futures. Follow Scotia Football Club on Facebook to learn more about our football initiatives. fair play and mutual respect are fundamental to football. Discriminatory behavior is not permitted. We ask you to uphold the principles of fair play and to enjoy the match in the spirit of unity, respect, and equality.
El fair play y el mutuo respeto son fundamentales en el fútbol.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at how the first half unfolded here in the second leg of the round of 16 in Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League. Tyler Terrence along with U.S. Soccer Hall of Famer and Tony Miola. Tony, Atlanta was always moving on if the scoreline was to stay the same, but you had a feeling that they were going to go after this game and go after it hard. What we weren't expecting maybe was the high press from Motagua early on, but Atlanta were able to deal with it.
Yeah, and Frank DeBoer talked about it in his press conference. Said, yeah, we have a goal advantage, but we want to go out and attack, and they had some opportunities early. This one, Pity Martinez with an opportunity from about 35 yards out. This was a questionable call here by the referee, Kayla Herrera, the Costa Rican. Atlanta do earn a corner kick here. Joseph Martinez somehow always seems to find some space in the box. The 5'8" man who finds ways to score goals. And then he cost the Venezuelan. Ezequiel Barco was really bright in this one. This time here, space is opened up by Joseph Martinez, which allows Barco to get to this backside. The ball is eventually deflected out. Marcelo Pereira, some good combination play once again. Pity Martinez had some opportunities that looked like this. Eventually he would get another one here, but he had 3 or 4 opportunities that he pulled wide. And then there's some good combination play as they're able to pick one off here. Pity Martinez to Joseph Martinez. Good understanding, good combination, good timing, and even better finish to that far post as he finally buries one after 3 or 4 opportunities. Nothing Rogier, the goalkeeper, could do here, but look at the combination play. There were 2 danger men up front. That'll make Frank DeBoer and his staff happy. That's one of the things I'm sure in the middle of the field to unlock defenses they're going to have to do, because we see teams sit in low blocks quite often against Atlanta United because of these attacking players.
And then, Tony, your comment right after the goal was just getting into the dressing room, up a goal, and that's what Atlanta United were able to do. The Five Stripes with a 1-0 lead in the second leg, up 2-1 on the aggregate. Remember, if Motagua are to score and the scoreline holds at 1-1 in the second leg, we would go straight to penalties, but right now Atlanta United with the lead, with the advantage, with the momentum. And we'll take a look at how the statistics shook out in this first half. And as we expected, I guess a little bit of possession in favor of Motagua here.
But not in dangerous areas.
No.
I think that's the most important thing. That 48% for Atlanta looks a lot better than Motagua's based on where they were on the field.
Yeah, and Atlanta United just absolutely peppering Jonathan Rougier and the rest of this Motagua back line. We'll step aside once more. Atlanta United up 1-0 in the second leg, 2-1 on the aggregate. We'll be back in a moment.
On Saturday, March 7th at Mercedes-Benz Stadium against FC Cincinnati at 7 p.m. Make your plans now to join 70,000 of ATL.
45 minutes left in this round of 16 time between Atlanta United and Motagua. Pity Martinez with the game winner at the moment. But later tonight, we got a good one between the Jamaican side and Portmore United and Mexican Giants Cruz Azul that you're not going to want to miss.
Welcome back to the pitch, your Atlanta United!
Just about ready for the second half here in Kennesaw, Georgia. Joseph Martinez with the assist to Pity Martinez. He now has a goal and assist in the tie. Tyler Terrence along with U.S. Soccer Hall of Famer Tony Miola. Tony, let's start with the visitors at Motagua who are currently chasing this affair. What do they need to do in order to get that equalizer?
Well, I think they got to get their foot on the ball a little bit more. And the one guy they have to get involved is Matias Gavaliz. The few times that he had opportunities on the ball, he was dangerous, but he hasn't been on it nearly enough. And, of course, they want to get Crisanto and Elvire out wide into that final third, into the attack to get some balls swung in the box.
Meanwhile, on the other side for Atlanta United, they look sharp. They look like a different team than what we saw last week, but we talked about match fitness. While it is better than what we saw last week, it's certainly not all there yet. What can they do to sort of maybe prevent some of those late game wearies that we saw in the first leg?
Yeah, that's going to be a matter of how they managed it throughout the week, how they handled the workload, and I'm sure they were all over that based on what they saw a week ago. But as you mentioned, they have been pretty sharp in and around the ball. They've looked active, looked a fitter team than they were a week ago, but that's to be expected. Pretty good first half, but now they've got to go and close it out.
Again, Atlanta United trying to get back to the quarterfinals where they were ousted by eventual champions in Monterrey last year. And away we go in the second half from Kennesaw, Georgia. Again, Tyler Terrence sitting about 2.5 centimeters to my right is none other than U.S. Soccer Hall of Famer and Tony Miola. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever it might be. And right off the bat, Motagua starting off strong and broken up along the back line. That was Fernando Mesa making a good play. Brooks Lennon, like we saw in the opening moments of the first half, finding some space out on the right flank, getting his first start. An Atlanta United kid coming over from Real Salt Lake. Amazing how much experience Brooks Lennon has at just 22 years of age. 3 years, 86 Major League Soccer appearances. 3 goals and 10 assists to his name.
Really converted himself at a young age as a player. You think about he was an out-and-out winger. He made that first move to Liverpool before he came back, and everyone looked at him as a winger and an attacking guy, and then he's kind of moved back into the midfield a little bit, so a hybrid of that role. And we've also seen him all the way up to the national team as a right back, so really kind of converted himself on that right-hand side to be very versatile. And I think from Frank de Boer's standpoint, now when you want to make a tactical change tonight, you want to bring him in the game, he's just the guy to do it, because now if you have to go to 4 in the back, you don't have to sacrifice your right midfielder. You know that he can go back there and play, so it's a bit comforting from a managerial standpoint to have that versatility on the field.
Frank de Boer talked about that functionality and being able to switch back and forth, and that they know what they need to accomplish, whether it be in a 3 or a 4 back system. And that understanding allows them to be versatile in all competitions that they might come across: Major League Soccer, U.S. Open Cup, and of course Champions League, as Galvaliz swings one in. lot of space for Mayor Keane here, and just out of his reach. Had that pass been on point, would have spelt out danger for Atlanta. They're creating danger of their own. Barco driving forward. He was electric in the first half. Joseph Martinez, and it's just wide.
Looks like he may have gotten clipped in the end, but how about this little run? Pity Martinez opening things up and giving an option on the right-hand side. This is the second time already in this second half, only a few minutes in, that Barco's been able to run 30, 40 yards through the midfield. And Joseph Martinez waits and waits, and there he makes his move. Good coordination, good play, and he does get clipped there right at the end. After you look at this right there, there's his move to peel off the defender. Great timing. He's a yard onside, has a good look at goal. Eventually broken up. Nice breakout. That's twice now Barco in the second half has found a whole bunch of space, which leads you to believe that Motagua is pushing players forward in the attack. And now there's that middle third of the field. So turn one over.
Fortuitous bounce for Motagua. And Brad Guzan off of his line. And gives a little how do you do to Roberto Moreira. Brad Guzan might be the last goalkeeper that I'm doing that against in Champions League.
The big bears, they call him. The big grizzly bear. Brad Guzan, the 35-year-old. So much experience. And at the moment, the #1 choice for the U.S. team with Zach Steffen trying to get himself healthy. And of course, we've seen this story from Brad Guzan. Tim Howard was injured over the years. It's such a great job for the national team.
'64 caps for the Stars and Stripes for Brad Guzan. He'll be embarking on some exciting Nations League competitions at the beginning of this calendar year. Big switch over to the far side. It's Jake Mulroney in his debut. Just to whip it across, and you've seen his intent with delivery a number of times tonight. It hasn't always been on point, but just easing his way into this Frank de Boer system.
Yeah, he likes to get forward, but a look in front of him, though, he looks up. He's got 3 runners. We saw in that first half, right? There was only Joseph Martinez early in the game that he was finding or looking for. Now he had 3 options in the box. More intent by Atlanta to get numbers in the box, get forward when the ball turns over. And Joseph Martinez, will they try and set a pick once again for him?
It's not a bad ball. A lot of pressure there for Mulroney. Last touch should be off of Crisanto.
Crisanto's had a tough night. We've seen him again through Concacaf League. We saw him last week. Really, really involved in the game. Tonight it's been really difficult for him.
Brooks Lennon all the way through. Stays in play for Barco. Hyndman somehow gets it away. Back for Pitti, just clips it in, hoping that Joseph Martinez is going to be there. Diving header away by Juan Pablo Montes. Barco on the turn, fouled right outside the edge of the area. And a free kick coming up for Atlanta.
Barco has been really sharp the entire night. This time he reads a play that he can go in and pick a ball off as it's bouncing around. There's the initial cross looking for Martinez. The end result was Barco picking it up at the top of the box and spinning and getting fouled. This looks like more of an Ezequiel Barco angle than it does a Pitti Martinez angle.
Barco just 20 years of age. Turns 21 at the end of March. Already a 2-time Major League Soccer All-Star. 5-man wall for Motagua. It is Barco, keeps it low, takes a deflection, and Rougier did well to hang on to it.
It looked like players in the wall jumped, and I don't know if Barco mishits this one as there's a bounce in it before it gets there. Deflects off of somebody.
Morera trying to send it out wide. Bullish play from the Irishman. Lopez. Elvire, and Guzan can let it go all the way through.
Well, by my count, that's Elvire's first cross in any position. He is a very good cross for the ball. Generally comes from wide areas, but this time's a little bit more central. You saw how dangerous he could be. He's got some whip on it. He's got some pace on it. That one misses the connection. You don't want to give him too many opportunities.
Brad Guzan has been haunting the dreams of Omar Elvire. He had a hit with his right foot inside the penalty area that was destined to ripple the back of the net, and Guzan made an unbelievable fingertip save down in San Pedro Sula last week. Pity Martinez stops on a dime, trying to find Joseph. Terrific defensive play from Marcelo Pereira.
And once again, another play started by Ezequiel Barco in the midfield.
Crisanto trying to slide it through. Escobar quick to it. And he wants to start the counterattack. And gets a yank from behind. Professional foul from Crisanto.
Crisanto looks like he's come over to this left-hand side of the field for the last couple minutes. You see him not able to catch Escobar here. Slows him down by tugging on him and breaking up the play. Motagua players up top, Galvaliz, Castellanos, as they press, they want people behind them to continue to press and not allow Atlanta to build through that middle third.
Motagua looking dangerous after the turnover, and the offside flag is up. Rometti. Great build up here from Atlanta. Slip through for Joseph Martinez, and again stopped right at the last by Pereira. Brooks Lennon sizing up Elvire. Patient. Boy could spark the counter here from Pity Martinez. Kevin Lopez at the helm. You can see what Lopez is trying to do in finding Galvaliz.
A bit sloppy up top for Atlanta. Ball turns over, and again, Motagua here to show you glimpses of how quickly they can get forward.
A little more than 10 minutes gone in this second half. Mulraney, nice little dip of the shoulder. Pity got in the way, but it falls for Barco. Hyndman over for Pity, looking for a second, cuts it back to his right, and maybe one too many touches.
I think that first touch, after it gets to Pity Martinez's left foot, eludes him just a little bit. It's a little bit long, a little bit heavy, and then he has to cut it back to his right foot, and eventually defenders get there to clear it away. This is good build-up once again. You see at the bottom of your screen here, Maravilla keeping everyone on side. There's that heavy touch by Pity Martinez, and then he's got to try and cut it back to his right foot before it's blocked.
Interesting move here from Diego Vasquez. Takes off maybe one of his most important attacking players in Matias Galvaliz, and on comes the 36-year-old from La Plata, Argentina, and Gonzalo Clusener, who's brought on in reinforcements for Diego Vasquez for this tournament specifically. He came on and did well in the first leg, but Galvaliz takes his seat after about 57 minutes of work.
Yeah, and you know, it doesn't make sense from a standpoint you take your best sort of playmaker out of the game, but there really has been nothing happening in the middle of the field for Galvaliz. So maybe now you go with 2 up top, change the formation a little bit, try and find success in another way. Looks like Felix Crisanto's pushed up a little bit, this left-hand side of the field, maybe to find some joy here.
Clusener had one of the 2 goals in a 2-1 win at Olympia a couple weeks ago. That was a massive result for Motagua. Part of the reason they're in first place in Honduras in their domestic league. Tough ball to handle for Hyndman. Lopez stumbles. Referee says play on. Look at Lopez. Still with it. Elvir. Bad delivery. And Atlanta United defenders can't believe that Franco Escobar, I believe, is the one who gave away the easiest of corner kicks.
I think it's a good job by the referee here as Clusener is just trying to get his body on Franco Escobar. There's really not much in it. All this contact is being initiated by Clusener.
Whipped in, dangerous there as Guzan was off of his line and easily could have gotten punished.
One thing we have seen throughout the game here is that Motagua's been very dangerous. Again, there's your substitute, Clusener, getting involved. This one seems to come off his back. There was an argument for it also coming off the back of Mulraney, but didn't see it there.
Pity Martinez trying to find Joseph Martinez around Rougier. 3-1 Atlanta on the aggregate. And inching closer and closer to reaching the quarterfinals of Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League.
Well, Pity Martinez says, you gave me one in the first half, Joseph. I'm going to give you one here. We've seen this run time and time again from Joseph Martinez, not only tonight, but through his MLS career as he peels off center backs. I don't know if Diego Vasquez is going home here, putting his jacket on, and he feels like he's done. But Joseph Martinez, we have seen this, the composure in front of goal, running at the goalkeeper at full speed on the AstroTurf. It's an easy touch to get away from players, but there's the combination. Now get in between 2 center backs. You can see him being held onside by the far defender there. As the ball eventually ends up in the back of the net. It was Marcelo Santos on that far side that kept him on. He rounds the goalkeeper, and all he needs is an inch of space, and Joseph Martinez makes it 2-0.
Joseph Martinez is flat out becoming synonymous with goals, not only within Major League Soccer, but within the region. First of this competition, first of this second leg. Of course, scored the equalizer just about 60 seconds after Roberto Moreira scored the go-ahead goal last week. So it's the Martinez show, of course, no relation. Joseph Venezuelan, Pity of the Argentinian flavor.
You know, we're going to look at the score sheet, look at Pity Martinez and Joseph Martinez, and certainly they should get some plaudits for what they've done. But for me, it's been Ezequiel Barco so far, 60-plus minutes in. been really the guy that's been the protagonist in the midfield for Atlanta. A lot of weight on his shoulders this year. We talk about Pity Martinez and the expectation. Well, Ezequiel Barco also comes at a pretty hefty price tag. It's a guy that eventually, I think the pathway was to bring him to Atlanta, just like Miguel Almiron, and eventually sell him over to Europe. So this is a really, really important year for him to establish himself. That'll help establish you right here.
Here is Barco, $15 million man out wide. Lennon, good idea. Joseph Martinez cushions it down. Hindman, Atlanta buzzing at the moment. We're getting word that Walter Martinez is getting set to check on and replace Felix Crisanto, who has had, let's just call it a difficult night.
Down the left-hand side, it'll more or less be a like for like, except Walter Martinez, a more attacking-minded player.
Just getting tangled up there.
Substitution.
Fernando Mesa.
Entering the game, number 8, Walter Martinez. Exiting the game, number 27, Felix Crisanto.
And on comes Walter Martinez, the 28-year-old from Tegucigalpa. Local boy from Motagua, and replaces Crisanto, who had a night to forget here in Kennesaw.
It certainly was a tough one for a player that's been a mainstay in this group. Has been someone they've depended on both with and without the ball. I think you credit that to Atlanta United and the way they set up, because in leg one, Crisanto had his run with Kevin Lopez down that right-hand side of the field. Tonight he was really quiet.
Good away from Escobar. Martinez.
Martinez, where he likes to operate, likes to take players on 1v1 when he has opportunities.
Players slipping all over the pitch. Elvire. That's cheeky from Martinez. Elvire finding the space. A little bit of miscommunication. Still Motagua. Still waiting for delivery. Now it comes, driven towards the back post. Pablo Montes backing. Cousineau wins it. A little bit of a frenzy right in front of Brad Guzan. And a goal kick coming.
Nervous moments here for Atlanta United. Bouncing around the box. We saw this quite a bit in the first half of leg one. Then having problems clearing the ball. Diego Vasquez looks like he's going to make another change.
Looks like it'll be one more roll of the dice as he'll bring on Rubio Castillo. And it'll be Rainieri Marroquin coming off.
Again, good work by those central midfielders. This time Pity Martinez in the midfield. The work rate's been outstanding. Ezequiel Barco on the ball again. Well, he doesn't stop.
Wins it again. Trying to skip around Pereira. Trying to use that small frame to his advantage. Felt like he was fouled. Not given by the head referee.
I think wants to kind of sticks his backside out 2 times. The referee's thinking now he's trying to draw a foul here. There's going to be a little bit of contact in that play. Referee's having nothing to do with it.
Kevin Lopez. Martinez.
Starting to think a little bit from Frank de Boer's standpoint. He hasn't made a substitution as of yet. We're almost 70 minutes in the game. It's normally a landmark in the game where you start thinking about changes. You're up 2 goals on aggregate. Maybe is this time for a Jeff Lorenowitz to kind of calm things down in the middle of the field, lock it up, if you will. We know they're short some players on the bench.
Third and final substitution for Motagua in the 16th.
And it is going to be Castillo coming on and replacing Meroquin. And Tony, as you talked about, the middle of the field was bypassed a lot of the time for Motagua, and a rough night for those in the middle of the park for Diego Vasquez.
Yeah, now you take a midfielder, a straight midfielder off, a defensive-minded midfielder, and you put a guy who started game 1 as your number 9, who had that little hamstring issue, couldn't make 90 minutes, clearly wasn't 90-minute fit tonight, or he likely would have started.
Pity Martinez with a big touch into space. Now delivers, looking for Brooks Lennon. And Lennon certainly appreciates the delivery.
You start taking snippets and clips of this second half for Atlanta, and this is what we saw 2 years ago, running through that middle third of the field, putting defenders on their heels, moving back lines, having them retreat 30, 40 yards, running backwards, being dangerous.
Atlanta looking to put this one to bed before the 70-minute mark.
Martinez not happy with being grabbed here in the box, but referee will have a look at it, I'm sure.
Back for Pitti, keeps it low, easy enough for Rougier.
Martinez and Emerson Hyman at that back post, not happy with Pitti Martinez's decision right there. It's one of those, Tyler, it goes in, it's the greatest goal, you shake the guy's hand, but if you did all the work and did all the running and it doesn't end in anything, you have a stare at him. Look at Barco's work here. Want to get in the good graces of your manager, that's what you do, you just continue to go and go and go, you empty the tank.
He looked 90 minutes fit and in July form in the first leg last week in San Pedro Sula.
He was, yeah, one of the better performers for sure.
Here comes Motagua unimpeded. Cousineer. Kevin Lopez lost his footing right when the moment asked the most of him.
I mentioned Jeff Lorenowitz came to mind when I was thinking about substitutions. Mo Adams comes to mind. Maybe you take that attacking sort of idea out of Brooks Lennon on that right-hand side, and you bring a more defensive-minded guy in to lock this thing up. You're in the final 8 right now if the score stays as it is.
Mulraney. It's not a bad idea.
Maybe a little quick for Martinez to get in the box. May needed another touch or so.
And the whistle was blown. It is a foul as Elvira was trying to go quickly.
It's an easy one for the referee.
Big sweeping delivery, always going out of play.
Well, he's scratching his head a little bit, Diego Vasquez here. One of his best crossers of the ball here, Kevin Lopez. It's 2 times now. In the last 3 possessions, he hasn't been able to pick out any targets in the box. It's been poor service.
Castillo guilty there. Mehmeti hits the deck hard. And it might start to get a little bit chippy for the side that's wearing blue. A lot of frustration coming to the surface.
Well, we've been talking all night about Barco and about Pity Martinez and the space that they've had to go forward, but it's been because of the work rate of Mehmeti and Emerson Hyman in the middle of the field, just locking things up. Allows those players in front of you to have the confidence to think that they can get forward. And you know the space behind them is covered.
And Mehmeti returns the favor.
Mehmeti knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly who it was. Gets a little piece, goes through him here. A little kick out there, it looked like, by Castillo. You'll have to be careful with that one.
Castillo. Broken up by Mulraney.
Every one of these fouls here, I think, plays in the hands of Atlanta United here. The clock just continues to tick. They're able to slow the game down. If anyone was going to have a fitness issue in this game, it was going to be Atlanta. You've got your lead now. You can sort of manage it. Really well done tonight by Frank de Boer's side so far after 74, getting into the 75th minute here.
Brooks Lennon kept it in play, almost gave it away. Now Escobar showing what he can do with the ball at his feet. Elvire, and it's all Brad Guzan.
We saw a lot of that in the first leg. Down in Motagua, Elvire getting forward. That's, again, by my count, just the second cross here. But you see how dangerous it is. Atlanta United, that defense, and Brad Guzan have done a very good job tonight with those instances.
Pity Martinez stays on his feet, or at least momentarily.
I'm surprised if we don't see a card here. Thought for a second Pity Martinez was going to get forward and be able to continue the attack, but eventually Marcelo Santos breaks it up. He knows what he's doing here. There he goes with the right arm shimmy. Goes through him in with his right thigh. I think Pity Martinez is thinking the exact same thing right there. Why not a card? As they were in on the attack.
Well, if you act like you're the one that got hurt, you get a little bit of sympathy from the referee. I guess that's how it goes.
Good ball played out by Brad Guzan here. Relieving pressure, taking 3 or 4 players out of the game.
That space right in front of the back line that Atlanta United has found throughout the course of this match is starting to dissipate as Motagua are moving further and further up the field. A little bit of negative words being shared between Pity Martinez and Joseph Martinez from a defensive standpoint. Motagua looking to get back into this tie. Of course, no penalties after the second goal from Atlanta via Joseph Martinez, so it would have to be an outright win from Motagua on the aggregate.
Mehmeti breaking up the play once again. Barco work rate here in this touch line with Pity Martinez.
Yeah, that's dangerous from Barco. Motagua want to play quickly. No card for the Argentinian. Just a throw in for Motagua. And another uninspiring performance from Lopez, given what we know he's capable of.
And Hector Castellanos was screaming at Lopez. He was wide open about 25 yards out.
Atlanta goes to ground, stays in play. Great feet along the byline. Should be a corner.
That's Brooks Lennon coming across from the right-hand side to break this one up. We're seeing a little bit of life here.
Whipped in, won by Castillo. Cousineer, and he'd be the first to admit that's not his best first touch.
Yeah, he made a mess of this one here. Jake Mulroney does fall asleep at this back post. It looked like this was his mark. Ball gets flicked on. He lost Cousineer. Good support for both sides tonight. Of course, we know Atlanta United's always going to be supported.
Pitty. Before, Atlanta United will open up league play against Nashville Soccer Club, making their debut in Major League Soccer after a couple of years in the USL Championship, second division. He has a foul called against Motagua.
Boy, Escobar comes in here hard from the backside. I don't know if there was much intent in this one by anybody other than to break up the play here. Walter Martinez, I think, recognizes him late. Escobar, good job of getting the ball, but pays the price here.
We're getting word that it's Luis Fernando is going to be the first substitution for Frank de Boer tonight. And he's going to make his Five Stripes debut, at least for the first team. Spent last year with Atlanta United 2 in second division in the USL Championship. 22-year-old from Brazil. Certainly got a lot of skill, a lot of pace. And it's Jake Mulroney who comes out after 80 minutes of work. Thoughts on his debut?
Yeah, steady, Tyler. Very steady night. I think if you're Frank de Boer, you have an idea of now what he can do for you in this formation. I think Frank de Boer would have no problem should he be an opening day starter, as you mentioned, against Nashville. As you mentioned, Luis Fernando will now get an opportunity, the 22-year-old. One thing you want to avoid if you're Joseph Martinez, he comes into this one with the yellow card. You know, he's a guy he's a fiery guy, likes to get involved in aerial battles, always fighting for balls. You want to stay away from obviously picking up another yellow.
Elvire sizing up Brooks Lennon. Did well to get to the byline. Delivery on point. And the shot blocked in front. Fernando Mesa's right there. Gets a that's Emerson Hyndman back for defensive responsibilities.
Yeah, he crashed down from the midfield, recognized the danger. And you're seeing Elvire here down this left-hand side, growing into it a little bit. This ball gets deflected over Escobar.
Lopez sends that one to Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, I'm sure a frustrating night for Kevin Lopez, a player that likes to get forward. Generally, we've seen him operate in the final third of the field, getting crosses, taking players 1v1, combining with forwards. He's been really pinned back the entire night. Hasn't gotten into an offensive rhythm. But credit that to Atlanta United for all the possession that they've had.
Good idea through. Santos lashes it across, won by Walks. I think we can confidently say that Atlanta United will be moving on to the quarterfinals. They await the winner of Club America and Comunicaciones. Is this one through for Joseph Martinez?
Oh.
And he gets drilled by Rougier. Referee says play on. Pity Martinez looking for a second, and he's got it. A third for Atlanta, and they're off to the quarterfinals.
Well, Joseph Martinez pays the price here as Rougier comes out of the box and absolutely hammers him, but Pity Martinez continues to play, continues to run, finds himself with two defenders to beat in the box. He cuts one and chips it past the other. Rougier likely would have seen red had this not been a goal here, but Pity Martinez, the quickest to react after the play. Here you see again, it's Ezekiel Barco over the top. Look at the run in between two defenders. And Rougier with his right boot into Joseph Martinez, but Pity Martinez continues. Cuts it to his right, and a little chip over the defender. Here you see the right boot going up, catching Joseph Martinez, and the referee was about to blow it. Credit to the referee for continuing to play here, and Pity Martinez quickest to it. And all he had to do was figure out an angle to make it 3-0, 4-1 on aggregate here. Good night for Pity Martinez. And although it's Tyler, sorry, it won't go in the record books, but give Joseph Martinez an assist here for the battering he took. And what another great ball by Ezekiel Barco.
Pity Martinez gets 2 goals, scores one with both feet. Rare sight of Pity Martinez goal with the right foot, and Atlanta United cruising into the quarterfinals now.
Atlanta goal scored by 10 in the 83rd minute.
Motagua trying to get one back for pride's sake. As we're hearing, Jeff Lorenowitz is getting set to come on. It's an Atlanta United team that is getting it done at home and moving on to the quarterfinals without their full complement. Manuel Castro, Miles Robinson, Matias Uceto, just to name a few, Edgar Castillo. All out, whether due to visa problems or injuries. George Bello. This is going to be a scary side when they do get their full complement. Meanwhile, for Motagua, relatively disappointing performance after they played so well, and Luis Fernando with a nutmeg and the stare back to go with it.
Really a nutmeg and a stand on it right there. Make your opponent too happy when that happens here, 3-0 down on the road.
Asking for trouble.
Yeah. I hope the game doesn't deteriorate to this. As Roberto Morero takes a piece of Escobar here.
And Franco Escobar is asking Taylor Herrera, head referee, why a card wasn't shown.
I can understand his frustration, Tyler. This is generally a yellow card in this situation, more often than not.
And this is the last thing you want if you're an Atlanta United player. You're already moving on. You have Major League Soccer coming up over the weekend. The last thing you want to do is put yourself in a position where you might get suspended due to yellow card accumulation, even if it is further down the line in the tournament. And it will be the Iron Man, Jeff Lorenowitz, coming on and replacing Pity Martinez, who's going to get a warm standing ovation.
Well, 2 goals and an assist on the night. Very good night. We talked about how important the season is for Pity Martinez to establish himself as the man in the midfield.
And what a luxury for Frank de Boer to be able to bring on the 36-year-old as a calming presence. And Mo Adams will come on as well and replace Emerson Hyndman. Mo Adams started in the first leg. Didn't perform particularly well. A lot of calls as to whether or not he was responsible for the goal. But Emerson Hyndman comes off after a solid night's work of about 87.5 minutes. And the former Syracuse man will replace him.
Yeah, very good night by Emerson Hyndman in the midfield with Eric Remedi just locking up shop, allowing those attacking players to feel comfortable to get forward. All around, I think Frank de Boer will be very happy with this side, the way they perform, not only as a team, but individual performances. I really can't pick out a poor performance from Atlanta, where a week ago we probably could have picked a few out that said they need to play better. I'm sure Frank de Boer addressed it. He got a performance from his side tonight.
Lorenowitz getting stuck in. Well done from Remedi.
Looks like 3 in the center of the midfield between Adams, Laurentowicz, and Remedi now. I think you touched on it. The one thing you don't want any silly yellow cards right now. Motagua's out of the competition now. You're going to move forward. Don't accumulate anything silly at the moment. We haven't had a card the entire night.
Now the question for Frank de Boer with Major League Soccer schedule rapidly approaching becomes, Tony, how do you start to balance these 2 competitions? Do you go after this tournament and do you rest some of your main starters that are putting in a lot of minutes within this competition, sacrifice early points in Major League Soccer? It's different for every club.
Yeah, every club it makes their own decisions, but I think we've seen sort of a unified front with regards to the fact that MLS teams want to win this competition. Do you have to sacrifice? I'm not quite sure. They just start their season a little bit earlier now. They seem to have gotten the fitness part taken care of. They look like all the players on the field look like they can go 90 now. As you mentioned, they'll open up against Nashville on the weekend. I'm not sure you sacrifice anything. It really is just a midweek game. You know, footballers should be used to this throughout their career. Okay, it's early, there's no doubt, but I don't know that you want to give up points in the league, especially you're going to a team away that's likely becoming quickly your noisy neighbors, if you will. Right? You want to establish that rivalry. You want to go out and show Nashville, hey, you guys are the newcomers here. You got to wait your turn.
So you're saying the rivalry with Orlando City means nothing?
No, it means something, but I think there's a new kid in town, and that's Nashville.
Fair enough.
And I would think if you're Atlanta United, a team with really a short history in Major League Soccer, only 3 years and a couple games here, you've won an MLS Cup, you want to let them know that, hey, we can't have them stop thinking about us right now.
Again, Atlanta United will wait the winner of Club America and Comunicaciones. Joseph Martinez, what a ball that is. Here's Fernando.
Not sure if Fernando was shooting this or trying to find Brooks Lennon at that back post, but either way, it's a good combination, a good run in behind defenders. Nicely picked out by Joseph Martinez. Almost finds number 4 here, but Tyler, you mentioned what do you do as far as rotation, and you mentioned Ocedo coming in. Manuel Castro still has to get his paperwork done. Georgie Bellows just getting back into training. Edgar Castillo will be back soon. Miles Robinson, of course, maybe the biggest and most important piece that needs to get back right now. It's almost like they have their own internal transfer window here with half a team coming back in. You know, you add those players to the mix here, and you got a pretty deep squad.
When Frank de Boer was asked about it, he said either the paperwork got lost for some of his guys or simply was just at the bottom of the stack. That's going to do it full time. Atlanta United, back-to-back years. Moving on to the quarterfinals in Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League. They dispatch the Honduran Giants. They get a 3-goal performance, 2 from Pity Martinez, 1 from their main man and Joseph Martinez, and they cruise on into the next round ahead of Major League Soccer play as well as the quarterfinals, and will take on the winner of Club America and Comunicaciones. And Atlanta United are the first side to punch their ticket into the Final 8. Tony Miola, your thoughts?
Boy, there could be a juicy one coming up here in the next round should Club America go through, but credit to Frank de Boer. He got things right a week later, and they deserve to go through here 4-1 on aggregate.
Well, the final score on aggregate is 4-1. The final score in this second leg, Atlanta 3, Motagua 0. For our entire team here at CONCACAF and Tony Miola, Tyler Terrence saying so long for now. A great night here in Kennesaw, Georgia, and we will talk to you soon.
Pity, empezaste con gol, arrancaste la noche y terminaste con otro gol. ¿Qué sentiste a poder darles esa ilusión a Atlanta y seguir adelante?
Sí, igual, más allá de lo individual, creo que el grupo hizo un gran partido. Lo digo siempre, que nosotros tenemos un gran equipo, un gran grupo, que está creciendo, que tenemos que aspirar a más, de seguir avanzando en esta Copa, que es muy linda, muy importante. Y bueno, el año pasado vimos llegar hasta cuarto de final también, pero bueno, hoy la idea es con más confianza, más experiencia del equipo, el club, de tratar de seguir avanzando y bueno, si Dios quiere, llegar lo más alto posible.
Ya sé que es muy temprano para hablar de eso, pero ustedes se pueden enfrentar a Club América o a Comunicaciones. ¿Tienes alguien en preferente?
No, el que venga va a estar bien. Nosotros tenemos que estar preparados a hacer un gran partido. El año pasado sufrimos a Monterrey de visitante, tuvimos carencias de por ahí no tener la experiencia necesaria para jugar esta Copa, y hoy creo que estamos preparados, estamos mejor. Y nada, el que pase, y bueno, se va a enfrentar con un Atlanta muy duro.
Muchas gracias, Pity.
A usted, buenas noches.
Scotiabank is a proud sponsor of the 2020 Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League, because football inspires kids and transforms futures. Follow Scotia Football Club on Facebook to learn more about football initiatives. support of the tournament partners, Allstate, Modelo, Nike, and Scotiabank. We appreciate your attendance at tonight's Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League match. I'm Steve Craig. Please have a safe trip back home. Atlanta United opens its 2020 season on Saturday, March 7th at Mercedes-Benz Stadium against
Jonathan, no el resultado de esta noche que queríamos para seguir adelante, pero ¿qué les faltó al equipo para poder seguir en este torneo?
La verdad que, buenas noches primero, perdón. Tal vez nos faltó un poco adaptarnos al campo de juego, pero hoy no sirven las excusas. El equipo rival jugó mucho mejor que nosotros, fue superior y es fútbol, hay que saber aceptar esas cosas. Y bueno, esas derrotas nos van a hacer más fuertes para lo que viene.
Hoy miramos que muchos aficionados hondureños aquí de Atlanta vinieron a apoyarlos. Un mensaje que tengas para decirles a ellos.
Bueno, primero más que nada agradecerles de corazón agradecerles porque han dejado trabajo, han viajado muchos kilómetros, muchas horas para estar acá con nosotros, con una ilusión muy grande de poder sacar este partido y poder llegar a cuartos de final y lamentablemente no le pudimos dar esa alegría. Nos duele tanto a nosotros como a ellos porque la verdad que amamos esta camiseta, estos colores. Y solamente pedirle disculpas y muchas gracias de corazón por el apoyo y por esa energía positiva que nos dan siempre. Muchas gracias.
Y finalmente, ya mencionaste esto, pero ¿qué les deja ya este torneo? Ya que, como a veces dices, que la juventud y sigue creciendo.
Lo que nos deja es la enseñanza que tal vez hay muchas cosas por mejorar en lo personal, en lo grupal, en la estructura de nuestra liga. Entonces creo que es una buena medida que tenemos aquí para crecer todo, el equipo, la liga, el país. Estamos en un país muy lindo, con mucha riqueza y creo que es importante que todos crezcamos de la mano. No, a usted, buenas noches.
Si me preguntan algo, intento.
No, pero quieres contestar esta
Esa no, en inglés
No,
me
okay.
da duro.
The question was, Coach does speak English, so the question was in regards to what does this loss leave you, leave the team. Obviously, it's not great to lose, and obviously with this result, it wasn't great. Obviously, if you saw the speed of the field was super fast, and again they were able to score first, and that's kind of what started to throw us off a little bit. We were trying to keep the game kind of neutral and keep that balance. But at the second half, we came back a little bit more, but we just were able to manage that. And we had a lot of less opportunities for goal scoring opportunities. Just give me one second. Una pregunta.
Se notó que ambos equipos estaban muy bien estudiados, su equipo muy bien parado, simplemente no pudieron concretar. ¿Qué fue lo que usted vio que usted puso adelante a lo que ustedes sintieron que pudieran hacerle daño?
Sí, bueno, seguramente la velocidad por los costados, creo que tuvimos uno por la derecha de Félix que nos faltó finalizar bien. Y bueno, parecido a lo que le hicimos daño con el gol que hicimos en San Pedro, pero bueno, teníamos también conocimiento de la velocidad, tienen mucha precisión en velocidad y en ese aspecto sabíamos que íbamos a sufrir y bueno, eso fue lo que pasó. Te vuelvo a repetir la primera pregunta. Muchas veces estudiamos al rival, pero es muy difícil neutralizarlo. El delantero es muy fuerte, si bien nuestros centrales estuvieron bien, saltaron bien, ganaron varias pelotas, también en ese aspecto nos ganaban la segunda pelota, nos ganaban algún rebote cuando peloteaban frontalmente para Joseph Martínez. Y sabíamos que se cerraban Barco y el Piti Martínez, que es un juego que ya lo tienen mecanizado el Atlanta y bueno, es difícil de contrarrestar cuando lo ejecutan bien.
The question was in regards, it seemed that both teams analyzed each other very well in preparation for this match. Obviously, as we can see, it was the speed. Atlanta's speed was practically dominant, especially on the right side, on the sideline. That was that was their game. It was something similar to what we did in San Pedro, but it was very hard to actually control them and keep them in check. Again, their speed is very precise. Their position on that is very, very good. That actually made us suffer. And obviously, we understand their forwards. Their forwards are just fantastic. They're very good. They were able to gain the ball a lot, and were able to get a lot of the rebounds. And obviously, Barco and Piti were playing a very tight game, and it was very hard for us to overcome that. Any additional questions? Sí. Okay.
¿Cuánto tiempo tendremos que esperar más para ver el fútbol centroamericano subir de categoría un poquito más?
Bueno, es difícil por lo que dije anteriormente del partido, la grieta que existe económica entre los dos equipos, entre todos los equipos, de Centroamérica y MLS y México. Y el torneo también con Concacaf lo arma para los equipos mexicanos y MLS, ya los hace cabeza de serie y nos hace cerrar de visitante. Ya es una ventaja, entonces debería ser por sorteo, debería ser un poco más justo en ese aspecto y equiparar un poco más la fuerza. Para mí debería ser al contrario. Deberíamos cerrar en casa a los centroamericanos teniendo en cuenta la grieta económica que existe entre los equipos de Centroamérica con los mexicanos y los americanos. Pero bueno, entendemos que el fútbol también es un negocio y esa parte la entendemos perfectamente y entendemos que es todo un espectáculo. Pero ese sería uno de los detalles para intentar ser más competitivo y ver a equipos de Centroamérica quizá estar más cerca de avanzar a las otras fases, pero todos sabemos las diferencias que existen.
The question was in regards, how long do we have to wait so we can see that Central American soccer succeed overall in soccer? Obviously, it's a little bit difficult. When it comes to economical and financial stability, most of the Central Americans and MLS. Most of this tournament actually favors the MLS and Mexican teams, and that kind of affects us, and it's more favorable to them, and that's an advantage for them. In reality, I would appreciate if maybe our Central American teams could close at home so we can have that advantage as well. But obviously, we understand that soccer is a business and this is how it runs. But it would be more ideal that we can have more of an advantage in our soccer so we can play and be more competitive.
¿Cuál fue la charla antes de, digo, también en Honduras, pero principalmente acá con los jugadores referente a contener al Piti Martínez, un jugador muy importante a nivel nacional, a nivel global, que fue difícil contenerlo en la primera fase? Hoy también, ¿cuál fue la charla individualmente con el mediocampista?
Bueno, no, sabemos que tiene muy buena zurda y que siempre encara para adentro con su pierna hábil. Obviamente que los jugadores sabían, muchas veces lo pudimos contrarrestar y tapar, otras veces no, pero es algo muy difícil porque todos sabemos, por ejemplo, que Messi encara derecha e izquierda y lo sigue haciendo millones de veces. Muchas veces sabés cómo juega el rival, pero contrarrestarlo es muy difícil. No, lo principal fue, les dije obviamente que todos los detalles que nosotros le llamamos el arte de la guerra, que son las características principales que tiene el rival, que se las decimos, las trabajamos y después lo intentamos hacer en la cancha. Para nosotros estar en este tipo de torneo de esta magnitud ya es un premio estar aquí, entonces una de las principales recomendaciones fue que sintieran, que vivieran el partido, que lo disfrutaran y bueno, y lógicamente que teníamos la ilusión y el esfuerzo de hacer el esfuerzo para poder pasar, pero siempre... desde que estuvimos en el sorteo siempre tuvimos mucho realismo también.
The question was in regards to what did you talk to your team, not just in Honduras, but here in order in regards to Piti, knowing that he's a national and global player and athlete. We know that he has a strong left leg. We know that he is able to score. We did obviously study him and analyze him, but it was very hard to contain him in the beginning. He has that similar play like Messi from left to right, so it was very hard. Obviously, we did go into the details and characteristics of our opponent, but at the end, we weren't able to follow through. For us, it's an honor for us to participate in this tournament. Obviously, we wanted to move on to the next stage, but I did tell the players to come out, watch the game, enjoy the game, because these are some of the very good moments in their careers. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Gracias,
Thank
profe.
you. No, gracias.
With 2 goals and assists, was this the best performance from Piti Martinez you've seen going back to last year's Champions League?
Well, you know, what I already mentioned a couple of times already, you know, he's really involved, committed, how he trains, how he wants to be a very important player for the team, and also helping young guys. So I'm really pleased what he's showing, on the training pitch. But also, I think that the results also, that he's also showing his quality. And I don't know if it's his best, but I think still he can do better. But if this is a start, then I'm already happy, because he. Not only him, but I think everybody played really well. And but it's always for a attacking-minded player to score goals, to be involved in the goals. That's always, it gives you a lot of confidence, and you need it. And I'm glad that he scored, of course, that Joseph scored his goal. So it was nice to watch today, I think.
Shane, go ahead. Rick, with PT, of course, he didn't have the best season last year. I'm sure everyone can admit that, but you feel maybe this year he's this nice alpha redemption to kind of atone for 2019?
Well, I think he showed sometimes his quality also last season, but maybe a little bit inconsistent, and so he knows that. Everybody knows that, and when he came in, this season, the preseason. He was really determined, to show himself. He wants to be a leader, for the team, because he has that quality to do that. And right now, I'm really pleased, again, how he's involved in everything, and it's really fun to watch him, inside and outside the pitch.
Frank, after two legs here in this tie, you've got a lot of new players in the squad. What have you learned about the group in general?
Well, you see a lot of smiley faces, and that's always helpful. That the ambience in the locker room is really good, and also the trainings intensity is good, and that's always helpful. And of course, we can still be better, I think. But this is a good first step, and it's a long season to go. But what I saw today, this is give me a lot of confidence, and so hopefully we can continue. And with players coming back and from injuries, but also players who get the work permit, like Rosetto and Castro. So hopefully they can join us really quickly.
Two questions. How did Lennon and Morini's speed as wingbacks affect y'all's ability to keep possession and really apply pressure? And you talked about yesterday, I think it was yesterday, wanting to dominate possession, and that you thought the quality of the pitch was going to help you today. If you could talk about both those things, please. Also.
Well, Jack Morini and Brooks Lennon, they have the speed, and also the work ethic, to play this kind of position, play the whole flank, and they did really well. And I think at the end, Jake was a little bit tired, but that's normal because he missed some training sessions because he had to travel to Dublin. He already started later in the pre-season, so I think he can look back as a very good performance, the first time really. And Brooks, is really consistent, in his performance. If he sees, also winning headers and everything. Second goal is, one of those where he wins that duel, and then Joseph, at the end finish it. So that's it's nice to see that. They do really doing well, and I think they are really good types to fill that position as a wing back. And of course, Jack Mulroney can also really play as a left winger. He has the speed, the one-against-one ability. Maybe Brooks not really the one-against-one, but more in combination with the player. Because he's always on the move, and it's also very difficult, to mark. About the pitch, I think it was crucial, that we have a very good pitch, and we showed that we could every time almost find our free man and in the middle. Unlucky that Barco 2 times slipped away, but one time I think when he didn't slip away, it was 1-against-1 against the goalkeeper. But for the rest, he played a fantastic game. He was always, reachable for the defenders to play in the feet, and turn around and. get out of the pressure, what they wanted, because Motagua really wanted to press us, but I think our movement from or Emerson or Eric or PT or Barco did really well. So we always could find our one midfielder free, overload the midfield, and we did it really well. And so that we trained on, and they executed really well. So, but the pitch helps, this kind of type of play that we want to play.
Coach, how difficult was to build a squad for these 2 matches with all the work permit delays? And do you feel this put extra pressure on players like Barco, PT, and Joseph?
Well, the problem is that you want your roster, as soon as possible, everybody together. So they put pressure, on the guys who are starting, of course, but also if it's going to be it stays, like this the coming weeks, we have to almost cannot rotate players. We're going to the next round. So this week is, Nashville is already quite short. It's in 4 days we play against, and then we have a normal week. But then it really starts, every 3-4 days. And if you see, hey, maybe this guy is tired, but you want to have good results, of course. We want to reach far in the Concacaf, so you have to play with your strongest team. So, but it have influence normally with the MLS. So sometimes now I have to take that risk, and if you have more possibilities, to rotate, and also with quality players, like Rossetto, and Castro are. Yeah, then it's much easier. And now sometimes you have to put, I will put him in, and maybe already, he's tired, but I don't have other options. So that's not good, of course, and hopefully they get really soon. But for example, Castro, he didn't train 1 second with us, so. Probably, after hopefully 4 weeks, he can be, maybe as a starter, now maybe only as a sub. So Rossetto probably goes, tomorrow evening he goes to Brazil. He get his approval, so that's good news. But on Friday he has an appointment on the embassy. So, that means, he's going to miss Nashville already. So, that's it's a pity for him, but hopefully against the home game, probably against Cincinnati, he's available for us, and because he's a quality player and he showed it already a couple of times. So we need that in our squad, in our roster.
You did have a thin bench tonight. Did that play into your decision to wait until the 80th minute to make your first substitution, and how confident are you in team's overall fitness going into Nashville?
No, especially because our bench was a little bit thin, and what I just already said, you want to play with your strongest team, so they have to be physical, be ready to play 90 minutes. So that's why we waited as long as possible. Also, as for example, Jack Mulroney, we knew, maybe the next time he's going to start again. So, he needs those minutes, and so that's the thing when your roster is not that big right now, and of course you have some young players, like Luis Fernandez made his debut, almost scored a goal, but you don't really want to make the pressure on him. And after 3-0 you think then it's okay, but when it's 1-0 you always doubt what's going in to his mind, is he ready, or if he feels the pressure, so that's always a difficult decision to make as a coach.
Got 2 more. Don't forget the mix zone out in the corner. Joe, then Manuel.
Just thoughts on potentially a rematch with Club America. It looks like you could very well play them in the next round.
Yeah, well, it should be a great game if it happens like that. And, for us, it was important to go to the next round. We did, and now we have to wait what happened. But it's, of course, a big chance that it's going to be Club America. And, this... For this kind of games, you started to play soccer. So for me, that's it's fantastic for me, for the club, and especially for our players, and also for the fans, because we knew that it was packed last time. probably is going to be here again. So the pitch is good. So we have confidence that we can get a good result, but we have to be on our top. That's for sure.
Last one,
Pues Manuel Díaz para Media Visión. El equipo se ve muy bien desde principio a fin ahora y con muchas caras nuevas. Piti jugó muy bien. ¿Algunos de los lesionados estarán listos para el inicio de temporada?
Miles se recupera bastante bien, pero todavía yo creo una semana o 2 semanas más. Y el otro, Edgar Castillo, tiene todavía su, no sé cómo se llama en castellano, pero está mejorando mucho, está andando, pero también falta yo creo una semana. Y Rosetta viene muy pronto, yo creo, para jugar en nuestro equipo. Será muy bueno, yo creo, porque es un jugador con mucha calidad. Y el resto, físicamente estamos bien. Tengo mucha confianza en nuestros jugadores, pero es una temporada muy larga. Hemos hecho nuestro primer pase, pero tenemos que andar muchos pases más.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Like I said, the mix zone up on the...